Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another destination deep dive. Today, we will be talking about our Mont Blanc trip. My name is Lily. I am a destination expert here, and today I am joined by Mandy. She is one of our guides as well as an ambassador. So, Mandy, if you'd like to give a little introduction about yourself.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I love travel. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I love adventuring. I love seeing this world, and I love meeting people along the way. So this has been a perfect niche for me to be involved in, and I'm really happy about it. I've been with AW over 10 years now, guiding trips, and then how to get involved in the ambassador program because I just love Adventure Women so much.
Amazing. And so you recently went on our Mont Blanc trip as an ambassador, correct?
Correct. Yes, just a month and a half ago. So, yes.
So it's fresh.
Oh yeah, it's fresh in my mind. So, these were some of my most favorite parts was the scenery, camaraderie, and the really pretty villages. What I loved about this trip in particular, and one reason that I really wanted to do this was we get to go to three countries in one trip. And that is really, really cool to me. And then I'm also a huge fan of trail running. And there's a very famous race that takes place in Chamonix, France, called the UTMB. And so to like know that I was going to be on the route of some of this and some of these famous people, that was kind of what drew me to this trip was both of those things and it didn't disappoint at all. We had a fantastic group. It was a big group, but it worked really well. I felt, and I think everyone had a really good time together. Um, and the scenery every day. And I've done some of the other challenging trips with AW. I've done the Dolomites, I've done Kilimanjaro, but this one, I don't know, it was a different kind of beauty and scenery that I really loved being able to see and experience. And then the villages along the way were fantastic to stop in, to sleep in, to shop in, to eat in.
Our Mont Blanc trip is a level 5 trip, and so those are our challenging trips. So, you should expect back-to-back days of hiking with some pretty long days, uneven terrain, and a lot of serious elevation gains and losses, which Mandy will talk about more and sort of talk about her experience and what that was like on the trip.
So this is kind of the map showing the general overview of the trip. And so we fly into Geneva, and then from Geneva we get picked up and we're driven over to Chamonix, France, which is kind of where our trip really starts. Our first dinner's that night in Chamonix. And oh, it's just such a cool town, small. I loved all of the places to buy cute athletic clothing if you forgot something or if you want something there. Um, Great restaurants, lots of options for eating. I know we have some dinners that are on our own when we're in Chamonix, so that's a good thing to know. And then, yeah, the trip kind of takes off from there. We do kind of an introduction hike. The first full day we're there, and then from there we kind of take off and start working our way around the Mont Blanc Massif. So, and from this map, you can see there's some parts that we skip. Um, and the reason for that is just timing. And really, when I asked the guide, I said, "What are we missing out on?" And she goes, "You are doing all the highlights of the TMB. We just took off a couple of days to just make it maybe a little more um, not like suffering, I guess you could say." So we still did all the hard hikes, all the beautiful scenery. It was just kind of the stuff in between. And I feel like, when you go on these trips, those guides know. They know what they're talking about. And so um, that was a great setup for that. So yeah.
Okay, so I can go over, these are the hiking statistics that are on our itinerary, so you can get a general sense of what the mileage looks like, how many hours you're going to be out hiking, and sort of the general elevation gains and losses. And as you can tell, there's a lot of back-to-back days of pretty long hikes. Manny, maybe you can talk a little bit more, and we can talk about that in the next slide, but a little bit more about what your experience and for the guests, what that was like on the trip.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like how at the bottom it said these are general ideas. As a guide, I can also speak that sometimes you may not be able to do the exact mileage gain loss that these say because every group is unique and different. And that's one thing I love is we're able to adjust for what the group needs. This is a challenging trip. Whether or not, the hikes change, it's going to be a hard trip. So you want to make sure that you are prepared for hiking. I like to tell myself, you got to be able to do ten miles a day back to back to back and plan on a lot of climbing, especially on this Mont Blanc trip. There was a lot of elevation gain. You're going over passes all around Mont Blanc. So every day we are hiking up. And you can see from these pictures, it's up, up, up. And the scenery in that middle picture with the jagged rocks, that's one of my most favorite pictures of the trip. Um, so yeah, just plan on it, but also be okay if maybe it said it was a 14-mile day and you did 10. It's not going to ruin your trip. And on the flip side, if you thought it was 8 and it's 12, that's okay because you've trained to plan on that. So be okay with a little bit of adjusting. The guides know there could be weather that could make it bad. There could be a person really struggling that day. And just kind of be okay being adaptable and going with the flow. So I think that's the most important. Our group just happened to be, everyone on the group I feel like was really strong. And so there was an option on one of our days where the guides felt that we as a group could all do something a little more challenging than what the itinerary said. And that involved, like you see in this picture on the left, there was a little bit more rock scrambling that day. Um, and that was awesome. Again, every trip's going to be slightly unique, slightly different, and that's okay. So,
Just a question. I see there's a picture. It seems like you also encountered some snow.
yes, yeah. And that is, you don't know, you may get snow, you may not. She said sometimes that's there, sometimes it's melted by June. It just kind of depends on the winter and the summer that they're having. And so that was kind of fun to be able to have a snowball fight in July. Obviously, one thing that would be determined closer to your trip date is for the heat, the weather. We knew going in that Europe was kind of in a little bit of intense heat for the summer. And because of that, it was mostly shorts because it was hot. But that would be something determined closer to your trip date. So either shorts or hiking pants. I like wearing lighter hiking pants. Um, and typically something, I mean, jeans would not be a good option for a hiking trip like this. Tank tops or t-shirts, typically you don't want cotton just because it's going to hold on to that smell and not dry very quick. For socks, I always wear like some really good athletic socks, not like cotton, because again, same thing, it just can cause a lot more blisters and things. Everyone carried about, I'd say 25 liters for a backpack. And in that, you always want to bring layers. Every hiking trip, that's just something you want in your bags. And obviously water, and our guides let us know the night before whether there was water along the route to be able to refill or whether we needed to plan on making sure we had, extra liters because there wasn't going to be water available to us. And then the hiking shoes are the most important part. And to me, that's so individual for each person. Some people prefer trail running shoes. That's what I like. They have a slightly lower profile. You still want to make sure you have good traction, whether you go for hiking boots or trail runners. Some people chose to bring two pairs of one boots, one trail runners, and kind of switched off between the two. Um, but you just want to make sure you break them in well before the trip. This is no joke as far as the hiking goes, and there was a lot of people who got blisters. Obviously, we took care of those along the way and on the trail, and everyone was okay. But you want to make sure that you're prepared in that regard.
I was looking through the pictures and they're just beautiful. So, what was the scenery like? What did you see?
Every day, the mountains. I mean, you're working your way around Mont Blanc, so most days you would see that mountain, but some days you wouldn't. It would be covered by something you couldn't see it. But just every day waking up and then seeing the mountains that we are going to be hiking in, it was different every day and yet a lot of the same. But it was so cool to see Mont Blanc from the different sides and be like, oh my gosh, look at it from this side. And then you go around. I mean, and then obviously the cows with the bells, you get that too. That's not just in Switzerland. Um, Beautiful rivers that we hiked through. Most of our hikes, we were able to finish near a river. So we were able to take our shoes and socks off and put our feet in, which is always so nice when that's available. Um, when the timing we went was perfect for wildflowers. So we saw so many gorgeous wildflowers. Hard to capture that in a photo, which is unfortunate. Um, and then every time you get up over a pass, which most days you did climb over and get to a pass, then the scenery would completely change. And then you would be hiking down into a different mountain pass and see a different side, which was just absolutely incredible. So this was in Cornwall, which, as I mentioned at the beginning, you do 3 nights there, and so you have one day that's a little bit easier. And what was so cool while we were there, which may or may not be your experience, is there was a big race that was happening while we were there, and so we were able to see some of these racers take off for their race, and they had different distances going out. And so the night we got there, the first group left like late at night that night, and it was cool to go out and hear the music and cheer them on. And then the next day, one of the shorter distances left in the morning, and so that middle picture was the race taking off, which was pretty cool. And then going and doing a cooking class. Like, how cool to be in Italy and do a pasta cooking class. We cooked it from scratch, or sorry, we made them from scratch. She cooked it for us. It was fantastic. It was such a great carb heavy meal, which is what you need.
Yes.
Perfect. And then yeah, Chamonix, you start there, you end there, which is a really cool way to start and finish the trip. Like I said, there's great food, great places to eat around there. I thought our hotel was really awesome there. And then our group, we all bought shirts when we were in Courmayeur that we wore on our last day. They were very bright pink. We were very loud as a group. Um, and you do a couple of things there. Like your first day, they do kind of an introductory hike. And then your last day, the weather didn't work out for us, and so we missed part of the top. We couldn't take the cable car up because of the wind and rain, and so we skipped that portion, but we did still get to go over and do the ice caves, which was really cool. So that's what that middle picture was. But yeah, beautiful. Both of those towns were awesome for being able to stay in them some additional nights. Ah, the food. I mean, when you're over in Europe and you're thinking Italy and Switzerland and these places to get yummy food, it did not disappoint. Most of the breakfasts were in our hotels, and they were great. Obviously, I'm a huge proponent of ice cream, gelato, so we were able to get that in a lot of the towns we were in. And then our guides would bring food for us, so we would carry some food in our packs. And then they would, when we get up to our lunch spot, they would cut some fresh cheese every day. Our guide made us salads every day that she gave us a little Tupperware we kept for the week. And then every morning we would put some of the salad in and carry it for the day. Um, Very unique. Every day was a little bit different. Cheese and bread, yes, absolutely every day. And then some yummy dessert or treats at the end of our lunches, which were great too. And then dinners were typically in the hotels or in the towns, and they were great too. And on those days where you do dinner on your own, I feel like they did a great job of providing lots of uh, places for us to go, giving us suggestions. So yeah. Yeah, the accommodations were awesome. Some, I think just one had a pool, which was kind of a nice little break. There might have been one more, but um, the timing is a little hard to have time to do that because of, hiking all day. But they were great. They were nice. They were comfortable places. Some had single rooms. Some obviously had the double rooms, which were great. And you switched up who you were staying with during the trip, which I think was kind of fun to get to know people a little bit more and whatnot. Um, and yeah, they were all great scenery at all of them where we stayed. So lots of pretty mountains to stare up at.
As you were going, for example, hiking each day, were you staying in just small villages along the way?
Yes, yep. The only places that we stayed additional nights was Chamonix at the beginning and end, and then Courmayeur.
Okay.
The other one, it was along the way.
So we have one departure scheduled for 2027. The dates are July 6th to July 16th, and we still have some spots. So if you're interested, definitely book in advance, as these trips tend to fill up pretty quickly, especially after hearing what Mandy had to say. You can hear how amazing they are. And Mandy, thank you so much for sharing your experience. It sounded like just an incredible trip.
Yeah, absolutely. You guys should sign up if you're thinking about it. It's an amazing, amazing trip.
And so if you're interested in learning more about Adventure Women or any of our other trips, feel free to call us, or you can always email us, and one of our destination experts will contact you. So thank you so much.